All right, welcome back to Daybreak. Now it's time to take a look at what has been happening in Nairobi. On your screen, you see the 4 functions that were transferred to the national government. There's the county health services, the county transport services, the county planning and development services, county public works and utilities. Those are 4 key functions, but they are broken down in the next slides. Okay,
and this continues: county roads, street lighting, traffic and parking, public road transport.
That's all under county transport services. Then under county planning and development, it might appear like a very small function, but this is about statistics, land survey and mapping in Nairobi, boundaries and fencing, housing, electricity, gas and energy regulation.
All right, we still continue. This is stormwater management as well as water and sanitation services.
So then the other function, we're looking at some of the functions, looking at the budget of 2019-2020 financial year. The health services had been allocated 7.4 billion shillings. Public works and transport had been allocated 4.8 billion shillings. The finance and economic planning, 5.5 billion shillings. Environment and water services, 2 billion shillings. And then there were 2 more or 3 more.
All right, so urban planning and lands were given 656.5 million Kenyan shillings. As you can see, urban renewal housing, they were given 651.7 million, the total coming to 20.9 billion.
Just to indicate here, that's based on our calculation. Looking at the services, of course, there are so many other functions, 10 of them that were retained for the county government, including agriculture and animal welfare. That includes licensing of dogs, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's according to the constitution. Those are the services that every county is allocated. So when you look at this, and I want to begin with you, Speaker Elachi. So we have seen a lot of activity. We understand that on the 4th, that is tomorrow, I believe, they will start having the public hearings or sensitization or what you call public participation. This decision, from where you sit as the county speaker, we have heard you say that this was the right decision, but there are those that feel this was a coup. Why wouldn't you just allow the natural process of dealing with the crisis that was in Nairobi to take effect?
Well, first of all, you remember in January, on January the 9th, the county assembly called for a special sitting. They sat, discussed, felt there's a crisis, and even ended up giving recommendations that the regenerational committee should now take over Nairobi. Now, looking at the law as it is, that was one option, but I know the frustrations of the regenerational committee is that it was not anchored so well in law. So today, one partner would come, the other one is not in agreeable, and so they sabotaged each other at one point, and I think it never worked by the time they were working together in 2018. And therefore, for us as the county assembly, we felt national government has to now come in. In terms of the law, when you look at the law from Article 185 to Article 192, you have options on how to safeguard a county. Many people will say there was no public participation. I believe the county assembly, 85 members who sat in that meeting and gave the resolution. That is part of your stakeholders. We had already met the Matatu people who had their own issues. And so we've had several meetings, everyone crying that no, you need to bring in national government to support us because things are not going.
Yes.
But what is specific to transferring these specific functions to
those
the
are the
government?
same functions we told the national government. The same functions. But we broke them down. When you talk of solid waste, then you're talking of environment. When you talk of title deeds, then you're talking of planning and lands. When you talk of health, health is health. When you talk of transport, the Matatu sector and all that, it is transport.
Yes.
So for the whole process, those are the key functions that were, first of all, affected. Remember, the planning docket was closed for nearly 7 months. And so what have we said? Mama Mboga, the one who used to sell something.
Why was it closed?
For 7 months. Just like, the way they woke up and they decided, no, things are not working. You remove people, sack them, now you close the whole thing. And we stay. You forget there are people who survive on anyone who comes in to invest. In terms of development of properties, you have young people who will go for informal jobs there. You have women who will come and sell their food there. And therefore, you close a whole chain of billions of shillings without knowing. Fine, you want to deal with the crisis, but you can't deal with it that way. Because I know my governor will say, yes, we were dealing with the cartels. Fine, yes. But when you close it for that long period, and you remove serious technical people who are the surveyors, who understand, and you leave it like that, then you have completely killed your own revenue. You've completely closed down the investment, where we are saying a GDP of 67, where this is the capital city that gives the whole country. Definitely you have killed it.
Here's the thing, Speaker. Uhuru met with the MCAs over the weekend. He requested that they do not go ahead with the impeachment process. But one Honorable Peter Makongeni, who is the minority whip, on Thursday already tabled it. And it has a 7-day of expiry, which, if I'm not wrong, should end today on a Tuesday, when they're supposed to actually be sitting. What happens if they don't go with the directive that President Uhuru Kenyatta requested for? What if they go ahead with the impeachment?
But you see also, even when the president, you know the way people bring it out?
Yes.
It's like, he came in, no, it will be wrong. I think he brought in the interest of Nairobi. And he explained to them reasons why he feel, let us look at the interest of Nairobi. And therefore, in terms of their motion, that is theirs, you know. And because now it is in court, I think it is something we don't need to discuss.
Right.
Because again, even if indeed he said, then why would you go to court? Why would you then feel his directive is not good, but you must safeguard yourself in court? So it's in court. I think it's a matter we need to leave in court. But I just want, before I know you go to my commissioner, to discuss this public notice. And I think this is also one thing we spoke in State House. And we really pleaded with governor that because you have already signed with the president the transfer of deeds, you need to read. And I want to tell my governor, you need to read what you signed, because one of the things you signed was to protect the human resource, and that you cannot, for now, until 21 days is over, change anything. So for him, first of all, to come and deal with Makondingo, who is by law a public servant, and therefore no governor can sack you. He has to go through the public service go and protect, and look at Article 236 of the Constitution that protects a public servant. For him even to put him here, this man can go to court and also use the Speaker may benefit the viewer by detailing what that public notice is. On page 19 of the Standard, you'll see faces of 3 people, 2 women and 1 man. This is Wilfred Gadango, Pauline Nyambura Kahiga Waititu, as well as Dr. Washington Makodingo. And it is notified for the general information of the public that the persons by the names that I have just read, whose pictures also appear, have ceased to be employees of the Nairobi City County government effective 1st February 2020. And this is therefore to notify the general public and all the institutions that the said persons are not authorized. So it would appear that this happened on the 1st of February 2020. We are now on the 3rd of March 2020. I mean, how does this work? Does it mean that is the decision that had already been arrived at before the takeover? You know, the governor should now come out and also explain what is this beef he has. First of all, we've had, if it is the Treasury docket in Nairobi County, has gone through the roughest time, that this will be the 8th CC, 8th. It means every 3 months, people will look at you and also judge you how now. Okay, but here's the thing, Speaker, before even we bring in the Commissioner and Wangam. His lawyer, Kipchumba Murkomen, says that this still doesn't make him less of a governor with his term. I'm not refusing. And it does not make you a governor who just sacks people without proper due process, because the Employment Act is there, the Public Service Act is there. I want him to read both laws before you even interfere with somebody's life and just remove them. You know, you remove, you bring, you remove. The other day you suspend, then you bring them back without. And you remember, all I'm saying, fine, in all due respect, you have signed now a transfer of deed. You need to read it, because as much as it doesn't make you a lesser governor or no governor, you decided to sign it, and one of the things you protected was your own staff. Here's the thing, Honorable Nyokabi, as a commissioner, you're also an advocate. How there's the legal experts are
not seeing eye to eye. They're debating with Nairobi county functions, key county functions being handed over to the national government. One of the questions is, how will MCAs oversight national executive?
No, I think the area of law needs to develop. Article 187 is there. It was envisaged that a county would, for reasons like the ones we have gotten into, political reasons, economic reasons, there could be other reasons that make a county unable to perform its functions. There was already an envisaged process by the Constitution that a county could actually transfer services back to national government. I remember in our own case in Meru, when we had the level 5 hospital, that was on our mind as well. Can you have a hospital this big which you're not able to manage and you transfer it back voluntarily to national government? I like that many aspects of law have been followed. The Constitution has been followed. There is also the Intergovernmental Relations Act. There is the role of the county assembly. I think that the county assembly will continue to have a role for as long as the finances that are going to be spent are Nairobi county finances based on the county revenue allocation. So I don't think the assembly has any reason to worry. But the other thing is that for the governor, I would hope that he addresses these matters of personnel, sort of dispute resolution within the county government. My own concern is on the services. And I don't want us to lose the point about why the national government had to go in. It is not because of the governor. It is because of the services. Nairobi has 7 million people during the day and 4 million people at night. If 4 million people do not have water, do not have health, do not have, public transport, then the national government has to come in. So in the fullness of time, we might need some amendments to the County Governments Act to just secure the process. And another question that has come up, say even with people like Kipchumba, is do you need the role of Senate in a matter like this? But then the urgency of it must be such that the county government and the national government must be able to agree on a transfer of functions to secure them. I just want to give a small example about my own upbringing, and I grew up here in the city. We had KBS, Kenya Bus Services. We had number 23 that used to crisscross town. We had number 59 going to Kenyatta National Hospital. We had number 34 going to the airport. The 34 bus was a really popular bus for going to the airport. We had public health centers in Bahati, because I just grew up in Maringo Estate, in Bahati, in Jericho. We used to call it Baha Jeri. You'd go get dawa, get a doctor, get treated, get vaccinated, get everything. Public schooling, all of us are products of public schooling. I am a product of Nairobi County Council Public Schooling. It used to work then. Garbage, we used to have that Meru. We used to call it Meru. It used to come every week in a collect garbage in Aenda. Can you imagine? That was in 1985 to 1993. We had those services. This is 2020. You collect your own garbage, you secure yourself, you give yourself water, you dig your own borehole. I mean, it can't be like that. Our Nairobi, and cities compete. Yes. This city is competing with other cities. It is competing with Dar es Salaam. It is competing with Addis Ababa. It is competing with Kampala. Now we are losing out on competition over our governance problems. So I like that the president has separated the governance problems. But can we, for heaven's sake, have Nairobi compete on the same levels as other cities in the world? Right. Johannesburg, Accra. So now the concentration, even for my friend here, the speaker, tusiingie kwa hizi mastori za sonko za mchezo, tukae kwa services. If the services are done, by the way, it is just the next page there. Look at the notice on page 18.
We are moving.
The public participation on page 18. Can we stay on that public participation? What do Nairobians want to see of services? The BRT that is supposed to come. Can the government now, under this mechanism, fast track the BRT coming? And the reason I'm excited about the BRT, it even has secured space seating for the elderly, for expectant mothers. The persons with disability can go in with their wheelchairs. That is the Nairobi we want to see, just as is happening in other places. The governor will continue to be governor. He has not been impeached, nothing has happened to him. But can we move to services? So this page 18, this is the advert that we need to let our people know about, that the sessions are going to go on in all of the areas.
Right.
I'm looking to see whether quickly Baha Maringo has been captured. Jericho Social Hall.
It is so well captured.
Watu wa Jeri, watoke. We used to have boxing. Can those services come back to Nairobi?
All right, Honorable. Honorable Wanga, so obviously that question about public participation, there are those that feel that it should have begun before this decision was arrived at. Is it too little, too late? And even as you respond to that, the question of oversight, because you understand that the team that should be steering matters Nairobi will now be reporting to the national executive, like what she asked, what remains of the county assembly in oversighting money that would be allocated, a devolved structure that Nairobi is?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, overall, let me say that I personally support the move
to move functions and for purposes of service delivery to Nairobians. I think that was grinding to a halt. And then we came now to Sarakasi, na nini, nahi. And we did not, the Nairobians themselves were, having really big issues. And we're all Nairobians here. And we all know, that if you don't sort yourself out, really, you're looking at nobody to sort you. The roads. Within our estates, us guys live along the same road.
We are almost walking.
I know it's really a big problem. But let me come back to the broader issues. The question of public participation.
Yes.
I think as Parliament, both the last Parliament and this Parliament, we have failed to outline a law to implement the constitutional principle of public participation. What is public participation? At what point should public participation occur? How should it occur? For example, we do bills in Parliament and we say we have had public participation by putting it on the newspaper, by putting it on the newspaper, people should bring views. Very few people will buy the newspaper and bring views. So is that adequate public participation? Those are questions for legislation.
Okay.
Just the fact that but sometimes we also go to meet people and people say, I do not want this law. It is this, that, and that. That is one interest group. Another interest group says, oh, we want it this way and that way. And so on and so forth. So you listen to all these issues, but you advance the law in any way.
Right.
So people say, no, but we give our views and they're not, you still went in this direction. So the other question that law has to answer is public participation equal to concurrence? Concurrence. Does it mean that if you participate, it has to agree with what you say?
So should it be pre or post?
No, and
a decision has already been arrived at and gazetted.
This is the question that I wanted to raise with the Nairobi issue. If, for example, Nairobians did not want the functions to be taken, it is fait accompli now. It's a little too late. But then now, the public participation, in my understanding here, is how do you want this to be done? It is already, functions have already moved. But how do you want it now to be implemented?
Actualized.
To be done in your view. How do you want the national government to engage with this particular function?
Here's the thing, Honorable Wanga.
Yeah.
A lot of Kenyans are asking, did Sonko hand over Nairobi County functions to avoid impeachment?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that question. The questions I can respond to myself as a legislator is questions that we can address by law to be able to sort out these things into the future. And that is why we are talking about this law on public participation defining. And it's an indictment. The issue of even transfer of functions is an indictment to the Senate. Because the Senate has been just calling, oh, we want to CCG, Minister for Transport on Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways is national government. Why has the Senate been struggling to deal with issues that national government should be dealing with instead of putting 7 years down the line, putting in place laws? For example, replacement of deputy governors, transfer of functions. The Senate should have been combing through the county, the places where they need to put in place laws. And even right now, we should have a law already, since this has already happened, on issue of transfer of functions, so that law will outline at what point should public participation happen and how should it happen, and what is the threshold for transfer of functions. And those are issues that the Senate can actually deal with. But let me say finally on the question of oversight. I think 187(2)(b).
Yeah, it's clear.
Constitutional responsibility for the performance of functions or exercise of the power shall remain with the government to which it is assigned by the 4th schedule. So I think there's going to have to be an arrangement. And I've seen an attempt to, where the assembly is also part of the oversight, because the constitutional responsibility for performance of that function
lies on
remains with the place where it is assigned in the 4th schedule.
But obviously, as you conclude on this conversation, one wonders now what happens to the cabinet of Governor Sonko, where we have some officers still acting. There are some nominees that are before the assembly for approval. I mean, what happens now that the functions are gone? What will they be doing in office?
And that is why now, one of the things we do not appreciate on this constitution is the powers they give the county assemblies. And I always say, and I always tell Senate, the powers of the county assembly are very powerful. That even today, the only people who can now go and complain on any of this matter, it's the county assembly, and the courts will hear them. But if you're talking about public participation, and because you do not always follow what they are doing, indeed, Nairobi County did their public participation. When the first time they brought the issue of regeneration. Because when you are pushing the national government, it is up to them now to look for the legal framework. You've been given, there were 90 people who were in that house, they approved. So if you're talking about public participation for the first issue, they have done it. So even if you question it, if you take it to court, and I think we've given everything that was given, and we even send letters to 8 CSS on the same matter, telling them.
All right, I want you to make your point as you close, because time is not on our side, as you close on the situation with the BBI in Meru and what we saw. Obviously, quite a bit of heckling, quite a bit of walkout, and also an agenda. I mean, what did you make of that event? Was it representative of the views and aspirations of the region that you once represented as a woman representative?
Sure. Well, let me just close it this way, because I really wanted to make a point on the Nairobi. Remember, there's a question of Nairobi in the BBI about the future of Nairobi and whether we could go the way of other international cities, that you don't just quite have a county government, that you leave it up to national government. So I think the conversation continues, and that oversight conversation is also something the Assembly is going to hang on to. But I hope that we stay on services so that we don't lose the focus with the political drama. The issue is the services and how those are going to be handled. And I think the Senate also needs to have a queue on the oversight, because that's the mechanism. So that, I think, should be done. There shouldn't be any more worries around it. But then coming on to Meru now, the region, Mount Kenya region, has very serious issues itself that needs to be resolved within the BBI process. Our main ones are representation and resources, and those must be resolved within this constitutional framework. And Mount Kenya has had its own history with governance, and we are saying never again. If we don't protect ourselves, we might be in trouble. But then what happens with the region is we have 11 counties to deal with, and so political interests always come in. What I like about the conference that we had is the memorandum that has come out of the Mount Kenya, the BBI memo, the 10 points. And I was really happy that the region of Mount Kenya allowed inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disability. So if you look at our 10 points, we have very clear protection for women and inclusion for women, for youth, and for persons with disability. The proportional representation that we are fighting for in terms of electoral system says clearly in our memorandum that women, youth, and persons with disability must be included. We have 5% public appointments for persons with disability outright. We no longer have the progressive approach, and we have 30% of public appointments to young people. We have reserved, that is the conversation that we want to bring to the nation, that in our MCA positions, we reserve 50% of those positions for young people. And we also want to see that the county funds that come into the county governments, 50% are spent on youth-based programs or youth empowering, sort of activities, and allow the youth to be part of the economy. So I hope that we spend a little bit more time on also what came out of Mount Kenya. The drama by Murkomen was just about 10 minutes. We'd been preparing like for 3 months, So you have drama for 10 minutes. That's what the public chooses to see. But underneath that drama was a well-organized meeting. A lot of attention went to it. Want to thank our leaders, want to thank our elders for coming out. The idea for the team that came to disrupt was not that much. So if you were to do percentage, we were 80% good, and only a small percentage had a problem. And that is democracy also. I even like that they were allowed. That is democracy at play. That whatever views you have, those views are welcome. The only anger for us as Mount Kenya people is with a region with so many issues. Do you really not give us a chance to also canvass our own issues? Murkomen, you will have your own region, and you will have time in your own region to canvass the issues of your region. Allow our region to canvass its own issues.
Someone might say that all the leaders that spoke there did not come from the region. I'm talking about the gentleman from Kotu, Francis Atoli. Raila Odinga does not come from the region. Of course, Gideon Moi does not come from the region.
But when they come, if they come to support the region on the issues that the region is raising, that is fine. But to come and lecture a region in its own meeting, I think that there is a question around that. And in a region where respect for elders is a huge thing, I think our elders just watched Murkomen with their mouths open. That really ought not to happen.
What do Mount Kenya people make of the sentiments that came from David Murabi?
I don't know about that. Let me stay on the memorandum.
All right. Honorable, let me leave that to Gladys. Were you able to go for the Meru BBI?
Yes,
You were there. And from that specific conversation, a lot of what was discussed was also what you talked about, allocation of resources. They were talking about 1 man, 1 shilling. Do you agree with that sentiment again, which was also echoed in Garissa?
Yes, I do. 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. Because you find
1
that...
man and 1 woman.
Yeah, 1 man and 1 woman, 1 vote and 1 shilling. So I think, or 1 person.
One person.
1 vote, 1 shilling. That way we are covered. And I'd like to, associate a lot with the sentiments of Honorable Nyokabi on the Meru meeting. And it was really, really well organized. And I think one of the best attended BBI forums. As I said, I've walked quite the whole lane, and one of the best attended BBI meetings. Over 30,000 people in that stadium, Kinoru Stadium, on that day.
30,000?
So, thereabout. It
An
was,
estimate, yeah?
It was huge. It was a very, very huge meeting, and what I can say is also very well organized, and their issues very well outlined. Their issues very powerfully spoken, and I think thumbs up to the Mount Kenya region for doing that. And I think in the question of Honorable Raila Odinga, I think he's been championing the BBI process all across the country, and I think it was good that he was there to listen to the people of Mount Kenya. And in fact, we said, Baba, when we go to Canaan, we want all Kenyans to go to Canaan, and I think that is the point of the BBI when we finally go to. And let me just say this: and if anybody thinks they succeeded by coming and walking out of the Meru meeting with 200 paid fellows. You come with your people, you pay them, you say, when I walk out with me. If you're truly concerned about the issues of Mount Kenya people, sit. Even when they've given you a chance to say something. Say whatever you want to say, but sit. Sit and listen to what they have to say. The person who sent you, who is, for us, we are not even talking about Murkomen. The person who walked out of that meeting, according to us, is the deputy president who sent them to go walk out, disrespect the Mount Kenya people. It is the deputy president who holds the shame for the walkout from the Mount Kenya meeting. It's not Moses Kuria or Murkomen.
Even though Senator Kipchumba Murkomen says that he had to leave because he had parental duties, and he even posted photos of
But
him.
you don't leave dramatically. Let me tell you, many people left that meeting on that day before it ended. But you slip through the back, you get into your car, and you go. But when you leave with an intention to cause disruption, it is juvenile. It is disrespectful. It is nothing Kenyans want to see through this BBI
Speaker, you'll have the final word on this. And we saw the day after, we saw the deputy president saying that this reggae, bangi, and uganga will have to stop.
Bangi?
But also at the meeting, just hold on, at the meeting in Meru, there was quite a bit of sentiments leveled against the deputy president, and one wonders,
No.
how did the agenda change? We had those voices.
Did you just say bangi?
Yes, that's what the DP said. That's what the DP
so
said.
Kina Moses Kuria and Murkomen, they normally come when they voted bangi. Because me, I don't vote a bangi. And I go for BBI. I am disappointed. I did not even know that. I wish I didn't hear. But anyway, having said that, let us now go to the real BBI.
Just before we go, let's
listen to it actually.
Yes. So that,
yes.
Bangi?
Yes.
No. Bangi, no.
Just
it is wrong to call us
regi
who are drinking
na bangi na waganga. Kenya ni nchi ya Mungu na maombi. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Hiyo ndio Kenya, na Kenya itazidi kuwa ni nchi ambayo inamcha Mungu, na msikuwe na wasiwasi. Hii rege na bangi na waganga tutawakomesha Kenya hii. Hawawezi. Kenya sio nchi ya rege na bangi na waganga. Kenya ni nchi.
to bring emotions to the church.
Go ahead.
He's using that to bring emotions to the church.
Yes.
But the church has also called out on new leaders at BBI for the heckling, and also imam leaders.
Who heckle? Well, now, the heckling, one of the things we need to ask ourselves, the real BBI of every region is the Friday the region meets. Leave the rest of this drama. We need to ask ourselves, did the region of Meru achieve their Friday meeting? Where they agreed as the region of Mount Kenya, these are our issues. Where they agreed and went and canvassed. That is the BBI meeting. The next day meeting is a meeting where other people come in just to endorse and support what already you have canvassed, you have agreed, and therefore, it is whether you shout now on this Saturday meeting, just know the real BBI happened when these people sat and prepared their documents.
There's that question I'm asking you,
So if you
Speaker
want
Lachi.
to go and help that region, go on Friday, sit and listen.
Speaker Lachi, I need us to close this. And like I said, you have the final word.
No,
There's
but
that
can I talk about the
there's
ban?
that question I'm asking that at that meeting, yes, the BBI is the agenda. At 10 points, she put them out.
Yes.
But then again, you have leaders also speaking against others. I'm talking about a leader like Murathe, the former vice chairperson, talking about the president will not hand over to a thief. There's someone else, Francis Atole, is asking, where is Utapeli in which office? There's so many other leaders speaking against a certain officer in the government.
Is it the first time Murathe is saying that? No.
So why is it being turned to that platform?
No, I'm saying, is it the first time? No. Is it the first time Atwoli has said that? He has said that in many BBIs. He has repeated. So it is something, that's why I'm saying, let us not also just look at the issues that come on the platform on a Saturday. Okay. Let us be serious on what people say on Friday. But now, closing that chapter of Mount Kenya region, then it means we need to respect also the person who has made that Mount Kenya region. And this is His Excellency, the President. And that is why even Murkomen enjoys as a Jubilee person that you can go to Meru and they will respect you, not because of you. It is because of the party leader of Jubilee who, and always, Meru is a swing vote. Right. I want to tell them, Meru is a swing vote. But it is the president who has made the jail. Right. Making sure Munya and Kiraito can sit on the table. Congratulations to him to make it work.
Wrap it up for us, Honorable Wanga.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say on the issue of the Bangi and so on, I think that the pulpit can be used to insult people in that manner.
Yeah.
Because are you saying all those people at Meru Stadium, they had smoked Bangi? You know? Or who is this who is smoking Bangi that the deputy president is talking about? But isn't it hypocrisy? Because the deputy president himself, we have seen him on many occasions dancing to secular music as part of, campaign or part of pushing this agenda forward. You will not be misled. We will not be deceived by people going to churches pretending to be holier than thou, when at the back we know what is happening. But then let me ask you the question. When Murathe said the President Uhuru will not hand over power to a thief, why is it being said to be Ruto? Is Ruto the thief?
No,
because he did not say any name. He just said Uhuru will not hand over power to a thief. So why is anybody thinking that thief is you? Or if Atwoli asks, in whose office is there the most Utapeli?
For the record, Honorable
Wanga, did not say anybody.
For the record,
the crowd is the one that answered with a name.
For the record, Honorable Wanga, we have not spoken to anyone. We're just saying, because we've been in this country and you know the politics of this country, I don't think we can be that naive. But all the same, that's your take on that.
Political hygiene to the BBI.
Political hygiene, according to Commissioner.
So that we can have the real issues. The youth have real issues.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at some of the feedback.
Let's not go to this Utapeli and then forget the youth.
Okay, feedback on Twitter. At Citizen TV Kenya, hashtag is Daybreak. Nick Mungai, you said that BBI, please, Speaker, let's listen to this. BBI is a political succession tool. Until the incompetent leaders address the tribalism issue, this is just a hoax. They are dividing more in the name of bringing us together. It's a paradox.
Okay, let's see what else we have on Twitter. Governor 254, you say Nairobi is on the global watch list of top 5 fast modernizing cities that are attracting new global business. It cannot be left without proper leadership.
Thank you, Governor.
Amen, you say that the foreign policy on Somalia is responsible and unwise. We cannot harbor fugitive in Mandera and ignore the repercussions. The MPs did what our government is reluctant to do: diffuse the situation.
All right, still on Twitter, being Charlie, you say the street fight between yesterday in Mandera is a wake-up call to KDF. Why the presence deep in Somalia while the Somali army and the rebels battle it out on Kenya, or rather in Kenya. Kenya's strategy for Somalia is not working.
All right. Kinani Waembu, you said that for Kenya to be ready for this coronavirus outbreak, it should have the capacity to test the virus and have enough isolation wards in not only level 4, I believe you say level 5 hospitals, but in dispensaries as well, and also issue Kenyans with face masks. Well, we have been told that the best of ways to prevent yourself is to wash your hands. we'll continue to find as much information as we can get and sensitize you on Citizen TV. The coverage on coronavirus continues. But thank you, ladies. Gladys Wanga from Homa Bay, Priscilla Nyokabi from National Gender and Equality Commission, and Speaker Beatrice Elachi, and all the best with Nairobi affairs.
And I just want to tell Nairobians, tomorrow we have public participation. Just go to your sub-counties for
Goodbye,
public
Speaker.
participation. Goodbye, Sammy.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Let's take that break.